Greetings, friends. Today I'm going to tell a very mysterious story of Carol, about some strange epidemic that is being sent to the residents of a city in the United States. I look forward to your opinions on the film in the comments. Enjoy watching it. The film begins with the crash of the space shuttle. There is a lot of hype surrounding this event, and the wreckage of the shuttle is completely cordoned off. An expert from the CDC, Tucker, arrives in the evening. The military tells him that the wreckage was the source of alien contamination. The infection zone of an alien contagion can be about 300 kilometers long. This virus is an extremely resilient organism, capable of surviving both heat and cold. As he leaves the headquarters, a girl runs up to Tucker and hands him a piece of shuttle skin, saying that it fell on our roof. The man automatically takes it in his hand and immediately throws it away because he hurt his finger. When he arrives home, Tucker is greeted by a dog, but the animal immediately runs off with a growl. The man goes to bed and is covered in a film of some kind while he sleeps. We see a woman named Carol, who works as a psychologist. She gets a call at work from her ex-husband, the same Tucker. The man looks normal after his nap. He says he wants to see his son, Oliver, but she refuses him. She walks her son to school and gets in the car with Ben. He is an acquaintance of hers and a scientist who clearly likes her. The man tells her the news about the shuttle, and he is sure the government is hiding something. At work, Carol has an old client waiting. She talks about her husband, who has changed a lot lately. The lady says her husband isn't her husband anymore. He made her drink something and then killed his own dog, which just barked at him. Carol prescribes her medication and asks her to call if something like this happens again. In the evening, Carol and her friend take the kids out for a Halloween party. One of her friend's boys is attacked by a dog, but the boy is not even frightened and almost kills the dog. Carol notices oddities in the child, but the mother is sure there is nothing wrong with the child. Suddenly Oliver screams and asks to have some disgusting substance removed. The mother immediately removes this strange piece of skin. She brings it to Ben to look at it. They study it and realize that similar specimens have been found in other countries on the planet. At this time, presidential administration officials and various experts, including Carol's ex-husband, are present at a meeting where the issue of containing the spread of a new virus is being addressed. Waiters serve them coffee, into which they spew some kind of liquid. At this time, Tucker tells them that the best way to fight the new virus is to vaccinate them. To comments from the experts in the audience, the chairman says they don't have time to go into scientific detail. Carol sees a man on the street getting sick. At the office, the husband of the very client who was at the appointment the other day is waiting for her. He behaves strangely and says he will wait for his wife, but his wife does not have an appointment that day. Carol calls the client and sees that the woman is already approaching her office. She is nervous and says she needs to talk to her. Carol tells her that her husband is already sitting in the waiting room, and the client abruptly changes her mind about going to the appointment. Carol is driving her son to his father's house in the car, but some woman runs out into the road and asks for help. She yells that they are among us and we need to warn people, but she gets hit by a car. There is a very strange man sitting behind the wheel, and the policeman who arrived at the accident is the same. Tucker takes Oliver back to his place, and Claire goes to dinner with Ben. She tells him what happened. In the meantime, Oliver is playing with the boy next door and tells him that something is wrong with his dad, and the other boy replies that his dad is weird, too. The father gives Oliver hot chocolate to make the boy catch the virus. At a dinner party, Carol gets acquainted with the flamboyant Russian diplomat Yuri, and they begin an interesting dialogue about the fact that man, in spite of all the achievements of civilization, remains at heart a primitive animal, and is capable of the most terrible things in certain circumstances. After dinner, Carol and Ben drive home, and at her house, Ben kisses a woman, but she asks them to remain friends. At home, a strange man comes to see her. He introduces himself as a census officer and wants to ask her some questions. The woman realizes that something is wrong, because it is already nighttime. Carol turns him down and he starts banging on the door with a frantic look, but he doesn't succeed. After that, he calmly walks away. The woman calls Ben and he comes to spend the night at her place. In the morning, Ben tries to please the woman and makes bacon. On the street, Carol meets more and more strange people. She understands everything and thinks people are going crazy because of a virus. The secretary brings tea to infect the lady, but doesn't make it in time because Ben calls her. He invites her to the laboratory. There they tell her that the virus cells wake up after sleeping, and even if a person is infected, he will become a zombie, but only after sleeping. Colleagues from another laboratory hypothesize that it is an intelligent perfect unit only a few cells in size, which integrates its DNA into human bodies and reprograms the human genome in just one night. At that time, Ludmila from the embassy calls and says that something terrible is happening to Yuri. They go to her and find Yuri asleep and completely covered in slime. The scientists decide to take samples and film the whole thing. Carol takes a picture of Yuri with the camera flash and wakes him up. He pounces on the woman and then lets go and dies in convulsions. It turns out that the process of his transformation into a zombie has not been completed. Carol goes to her ex-husband for her son in a panic, and realizes that her husband is already one of them. The husband and his zombie cronies tell her that when she wakes up, she won't notice the change, and they infect her afterwards. But her son wasn't in the house and she leaves, realizing that she can't sleep now. And there are already too many zombies on the street, and she tries to flee by ditching her car, but the whole town is already overrun with infected people. Her son sends her a message to pick him up. There are normal people sitting in the subway who have already realized that in order not to get caught by the infected, you can't show emotion. But that doesn't save them, and only Carol escapes, and she manages to kill one of them. And on the street, they are already catching uninfected people. The woman tries not to show emotion. Not finding her son at home, she visits Ben and his friend. After consulting, they decide to go to another laboratory 200 kilometers from Washington, D.C., where they have been promised to be let in. But Carol doesn't want to go without her son, so she and Ben go looking for him. On the street, they meet the very same client the cops grabbed, and she screams that she's been asleep before, but she doesn't look infected. Interested in this, they go to Carol's office. There, they learn from her medical history that she had encephalitis, which was a complication of chickenpox, not a simple one, but an acute disseminated encephalitis that affects the white matter of the brain rather than the gray matter. Carol recalls that her son also had chickenpox last year. Oliver had been vaccinated, but this was a new kind of chickenpox and the hospital diagnosed him the same way. They report their discovery to the lab, where they are already preparing and testing a vaccine against the alien contagion. Then the woman receives a message on her cell phone informing her that Oliver is in Baltimore with Tucker's mother. Ben helps her break through the military cordon and stays in Washington, D.C., while she takes the train to Baltimore. On the train, Carol runs into her son's friend, who is also infected. He tells her that his mother died before she could transform herself. He offers to let her sleep, and the woman agrees. She pretends to transform by putting on some skin she found in the bathroom. They are met at the train station by her ex-husband, Tucker, and they go to his mother's house. Carol goes into her son's room and they take a long look at each other, trying to see if anyone among them is infected. When they realize that no one is infected, they embrace. Suddenly the guy from the train enters the room and he sees that they are both not infected with the virus. Carol pushes him and he passes out. They run away from the house and hide in a semi-basement. But Tucker finds them, and in a scuffle Carol kills him with a hammer. Then they run into a drugstore. The woman finds adrenaline and explains to her son how to use it. In the back room, Carol finds sleeping infected people. She takes the gun from the sleeping policeman and locks them all up. While they are waiting for Ben, Carol falls asleep and begins to transform. But Oliver gives her a shot of adrenaline to the heart, thereby waking her up and stopping the transformation. Ben arrives and she is horrified to realize that he has changed. The man unlocks the back room and lets the infected people out. When he tries to grab the woman, she kills them all and wounds Ben in the leg. A chase scene follows in which the infected try to capture Carol and her son. Our heroes are saved with the help of Dr. Galliano, who flew in by helicopter. The news shows the vaccination of the population through water and food by spraying the vaccine from a helicopter. Dr. Gallian gives an interview in which he says that the virus is over. The recovered people do not remember anything and take what happened to them as a dream. That's the end of the movie. Thank you for watching the video all the way to the end. Write in the comments if you liked the movie. Subscribe to the channel and like this video. See you all in new videos.